spend on anything you like. It only takes one entry to become a winner. For another chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB16 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 31st of October. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand.
Westminster, the ultimate clique.
And you're fighting like rats in a sack.
But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask.
OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician.
Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off limits.
You had the power then.
Yeah, as I
and
say,
now you've lost it.
That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless.
But no, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show.
Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk then?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact is Trump made a good start. No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
about 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's political podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's political podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
I think for far too long in this country, millions of people felt as though they weren't represented at all by the establishment media.
GB News was needed because there literally was no other voice. Everyone was saying the same thing.
GB News exists because there is a desperate need for fearless journalism that puts the people first.
GB News came on the scene as a disruptor, and it has always been a disruptor ever since.
The mainstream is all about keeping the status quo as it is, ticking along quite nicely. They don't want to ask difficult questions.
But journalism is journalism at the end of the day, and we're not here to serve any masters. Our masters are our audience.
Charlie Peters, he gave a voice to the victims of grooming gangs, and now, of course, it's led to a national inquiry.
GB News exists to make sure those concerns are put forward and people feel as though what they want to ask is put to those in power.
We don't take orders from anyone. We ask the questions our viewers and listeners want answering.
I know what's actually being discussed by my family and my friends.
Us ordinary, hard-working British people have had enough. We've had enough.
They're fed up with the same old establishment nonsense. Everything that we do is opening up conversations that others are afraid to go at.
Why are you illegally bringing people into Britain?
That is our job. Our job is to get to the truth.
If it's important to you watching or listening at home, then it's important to us as well.
That's what makes us the fearless champion of Britain.
How are you? Well, 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 what a time to be alive. It's 9 p.m. I'm Patrick Christys. Tonight,
I've questioned myself as to why did I go, what was I doing, and was it the right thing to do?
no, it wasn't the right thing to do. It was never the right thing to do. And the fact is, Prince Andrew, it turns out, looks like he's lied to Emily Maitlis, to the country, to the late Queen about all of his involvements with Jeffrey Epstein. It's scandal after scandal after scandal. I tell you what, I bet he's sweating now. Also...
Fils de pute! Charmota! Benzona!
Well, Sir Keir Starmer claims that he'll reverse the Jewish fans ban from Birmingham, but a bombshell picture has emerged of him at an event that said that Israel should be banned from FIFA 2050. There's always receipts, isn't there, with Sir Keir Starmer? Is there any scandal or any issue he's not been on the wrong side of? And...
You raised the Chinese embassy building in London when we spoke on the telephone, and we have since taken action.
There you go again. A clip has emerged of him talking to the Chinese leader about, oh, it's fantastic, we're going to roll this embassy out. Oh, brilliant. I mean, it's just absolutely remarkable. Is he in the pocket of China also?
So many people have died in this war, and we're gonna get it ended.
Yeah, well, some other big news today, wasn't there? Zelensky was in the White House. Is the Russia-Ukraine war now over? And...
There's a complete, total outrage. It'll mean that people elected back in 2021 will be serving 6, 7, who knows how long their terms will be.
Gosh, is there a name for the type of country that bans elections? Is there a name? Oh, gosh. Oh, dictatorship, isn't it? Yes, well, Labour might cancel local elections again because they're too scared of reform. And...
We are here every day and every night of every year. From newborn to old age. We never panic.
Right, can anyone who's not just read my auto cue tell me what the NHS medical negligence bill is? Any guesses? Any guesses? Toss a few numbers at me. Come on, anyone? 60 billion. You read the auto cue. There you go. 60 billion quid. 60 billion pounds is the cost of NHS medical negligence. Are you scared of using the National Health Service? On my panel tonight, we have got businessman and activist Adam Brooks. We've got broadcasting royalty Christo Fufas. That's certainly one royal who's not... The scandals haven't caught up with him yet. Anyway, we've also got political commentator Chloe Dobbs. And we've got Labour MP Barry Gardner. Oh, it's not the worst you've ever had. Not the worst you've ever had. Oh, and gosh, you know when West Midlands police say that they just have to ban the football fans, yeah, the Jewish football fans? Remember this.
Salam alaikum. Good morning, everyone, and thank you to the leaders and elders that have afforded me this opportunity to speak to you.
I would also like to thank the leaders and the elders who have afforded me the opportunity to speak to you at home tonight. So get ready, Britain, here we go. Oh. Sorry, you might have heard there. I forgot to do the thing I normally do with yours. Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Right, there we are. OK. I tell you what, Prince Andrew's sweating now, isn't he? Over to your headlines.
Hello there, very good evening to you. Let's start with the breaking news of the evening. Prince Andrew is giving up all of his royal titles and honours, including the Duke of York. Andrew will put his titles in abeyance and will relinquish his position of Knight of the Garter after coming under huge pressure from the King, although he will remain a prince. Andrew's ex-wife, Sarah, Duchess of York, will follow suit and will be known simply as Sarah Ferguson. The development follows a string of new scandals concerning his friendship with Jeffrey Epstein and his relationship with an alleged Chinese spy. In a statement, Prince Andrew said continued accusations about him were distracting from the work of the royal family, but he continues to vigorously deny any wrongdoing. The Daily Mail's editor-at-large, Charlotte Griffiths, says the situation had become untenable.
He had to give it up himself, essentially, to save further drama, further headlines, further scene stealing from other royals. So it's a rare moment, really, of self-awareness from the Duke of York to actually fall on his sword. But I know he's been under a lot of pressure. And you mentioned Prince William there. I think Prince William was very involved. Prince William is furious about the situation, and he is the future of the monarchy going forward, and he wants to protect it. And I'm afraid Andrew was, of course, a huge liability.
Donald Trump's hosting Volodymyr Zelensky at the White House to discuss the war in Ukraine. The Ukrainian president is hoping to secure long-range missiles that can strike deep into Russian territory. He says the war could be ended with US help, praising Donald Trump for bringing an end to some of the war in the Middle East. Trump had previously indicated he may supply Ukraine with Tomahawk missiles, although cast doubt on that, having spoken to Vladimir Putin yesterday, the Russian leader, saying Tomahawks would represent an escalation in the war.
We'll be talking about what took place yesterday with my phone call with President Putin. And I think that things are coming along pretty well. And we'd like to see if we could finish it, end it. We want it ended. So many people have died in this war, and we're gonna get it ended. So,
the government says it's doing everything in its power to overturn a ban on Israeli fans attending a football match in Birmingham. Police and council officials banned Maccabi Tel Aviv supporters over safety concerns after classifying the game against Aston Villa as high risk, citing violence that occurred during a Europa League game between Ajax and Maccabi in Amsterdam in November. Well, Downing Street says it's working with police and exploring what additional resources are required to overturn the ban, with Home Secretary Shabana Mahmood saying they want to ensure all fans can safely attend the game. The Prime Minister, along with the leaders of the Conservatives and Liberal Democrats, have called for it to be overturned. Palestine Action will be allowed to challenge its ban under terrorism laws. The government's failed in its attempt to block a legal appeal brought by the group's co-founder Huda Amouri. The Home Office ban, which came into force in July, makes membership of or support for Palestine Action a criminal offence. And the Manchester arena bomber Hashim Abedi has pleaded not guilty to the attempted murder of 3 prison officers. It follows an attack at HMP Franklin in County Durham in April. The Old Bailey heard the alleged offence had a terrorist motivation. Abedi serving a 22-year sentence for helping his brother murder 22 people at an Ariana Grande concert in 2017. And those are your headlines. Now it's back to Patrick.
Tune into GB News Radio wherever you are. Online, on DAB digital radio, on TuneIn, on Radio Player and on your smart speaker. Just say, play GB News.
To my wonderful live studio audience. We're going to start by doing things a little bit differently tonight. You might have noticed my panel have left us, and we are going to be joined shortly by our royal correspondent Cameron Walker. It's a big night for it, isn't it? Very big night. I'm very keen to get my audience's questions and reaction on the latest Prince Andrew drama. So, Prince Andrew is set to give up all his royal titles following a string of scandals. Look, it all started for Andrew with this.
Do you regret the whole friendship with Epstein?
Now, still not, and the reason being is that the people that I met and the opportunities that I was given to learn, either by him or because of him, were actually very useful.
Good grief. All his implausible excuses?
On that particular day that we now understand is the date, which is the 10th of March. I was at home. I was with the children. I'd taken Beatrice to a Pizza Express in Woking for a party at I suppose, sort of 4 or 5 in the afternoon. I have a peculiar medical condition, which is that I don't sweat, or I didn't sweat at the time.
Oh, my gosh. And it's remarkably still been downhill from there, hasn't it? In the last week alone, Andrew has been accused of sending this email to Jeffrey Epstein after he said he cut contact with him. The email basically said that we're all in it together, aren't we? We're in it together, which is, I mean, pretty seedy stuff. He's been accused of very seedy stuff, again, by Virginia Giuffre, who says that he mentioned how his daughters were about the same age as her when they allegedly had sex, and now he's linked to another spy scandal. It's actually the second Chinese spy scandal that Prince Andrew has been linked to. Look, it's a tidal wave of sordid sleaze and scandal, but at least Prince William had the right idea. You'll be able to see some footage there of our future king completely blanking him. Look at it, looks at him, bit disgusted. Stop talking to me, Andrew, just back off, you weirdo. And there we go. Yeah, get away from me. How have I ended up stood next to you? I thought you were banned from this, but there we go. So, right, look, we are joined now by GBNews' royal correspondent, Cameron Walker. And like I said, you know, I want to throw it over to the audience as much as possible tonight. Any questions that come up, just wave your hand in the air. We'll get a microphone over to you. But Cameron, could you start, please, if that's all right, by reading out Prince Andrew's toe-curling statement?
Yes, a pretty lengthy statement. So he said, in discussion with the King and my immediate and wider family, we have concluded the continued accusations about me distract from the work of His Majesty and the royal family. I have decided, as I always have, to put my duty to my family and country first. I stand by my decision 5 years ago to stand back from public life. Remember, that was following the Emily Maitlis Newsnight interview. With His Majesty's agreement, we feel I must now go a step further. I will therefore no longer use my title or the honours which have been conferred upon me. As I have said previously, I vigorously deny the accusations against me. So legally, technically, he's still the Duke of York, but he's decided he's no longer using that title. It's effectively inactive.
That's good of him, isn't it? Oh, what a nice guy. Fantastic stuff. Yes, OK. Let's go to the first gentleman here who's got the microphone. So what is it you would like to ask Cameron about this?
It's a burning question. It says, will Prince Andrew remain a prince? Despite all of that, basically.
Will he remain a prince?
He will, yes. And it's all down to King George V, a letters patent he wrote in 1917, which effectively says that the son of a monarch, of course Queen Elizabeth II was his mother, is entitled to have the prince title. The only way he can get rid of that is through a new letters patent written by King Charles or an Act of Parliament. So as things stand tonight, Prince Andrew is still a prince, but he's no longer using the Duke of York title.
Let's get a feel for the room on this then. Do people here, by virtue of making some noise, do you think that he should still be a prince? No. Would you support it? So what, King Charles would have to do what? Some kind of special decree, you were saying?
Well, the Queen Elizabeth II strengthened the letters patent in 2012, so it's not as if it dates right back to 1917. It would take a lot, I think, for King Charles to perhaps do that, but clearly from the audience they suggest that they probably should. And in fact, 67% of the British public think that Prince Andrew, all of his titles, all of his patronages, all of his princely titles should be removed. But for it to legally take effect, it would require an Act of Parliament, so it would mean that politicians would have to get it through the House of Commons and the House of Lords. And Patrick, they've got a lot to deal with already, don't they?
They have got a lot to deal with already, although there is that infamous clip, as always with Keir Starmer, there's the infamous clip of him from a while ago, saying that, oh, it's funny that they knighted me because I used to want to abolish the royal family. Well, now he could abolish one of them, couldn't he? He could have his chance to abolish one of them. There you go. Come on, Sir Keir. Well, we'll see what happens there. Has anyone else got any points that they'd like to raise on this? Right, let's grab the microphone. Go on, whiz it down on. Here we go. Good stuff. Sir, what would you like to say?
Can we be given a referendum on whether we can get rid of him? You know, lose his title. Give the public a referendum.
So you think we should put it...
Put it to the public.
Snap referendum on it?
No, don't leave it to Charles. Let the public decide what they want to do.
Well, I mean, effectively that could happen, couldn't it? But again, it would require an Act of Parliament and
Nigel
politicians.
put it in his manifesto. How about that?
Maybe. I mean, yeah, it's up to Nigel. If Nigel wants to put it in his manifesto, of course he could. It would be very popular with the British public and it wouldn't cost any money, of course,
well, that's
either.
even better then, isn't it, really?
Yeah, 67%. So we'll see. But the last time that anything like that happened was 1917, which was the Deprivation of the Titles Act, which was when the British state wanted to get rid of all the German princes' titles, because, of course, during the First World War, we were at war with them. So it's incredibly rare. That's how long we're talking. That it's possible, but it's hasn't happened for well over 100 years.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, there's a clip I'm going to play to you now of after Andrew's Maitlis interview and the fallout after that. I actually think you look back on this now, and I think this is an even sadder clip than it was at the time. So it's our late Queen and Prince Andrew, and he is helping walk her down the aisle. I believe it was at the memorial service for Prince Philip. Let's just play this clip. So, do you think that, in a way, he's tried, or she tried to kind of almost resurrect him a bit there? Because, obviously, she's maybe believed some of the things that are not necessarily true now. I just wonder if that was like an added disgrace on his behalf, that, for the late Queen.
Well, Queen Elizabeth II, she was Princess Elizabeth when she gave birth to Charles and Anne, and then she became Queen pretty soon after at the age of 25, and she had to put the state and the country first. So I think 10 years later, when she had Andrew and Edward, she realised that she could, you know, be perhaps a bit more of a mother than she could when she was with Charles and Anne, which means that we've got this kind of nickname, haven't we, that Prince Andrew was always Queen Elizabeth II's favourite son. And the rumour goes that Prince Andrew was so kind of mollycoddled and, you know, made to feel very entitled that he's kept that going all through his life.
Teddy's on the bed, isn't there? What's all this stuff about lots of teddy bears on the bed? Does he deny that?
But he hasn't denied that particular rumour. But, of course, you know, that was certainly reported in the papers. He had lots of teddies on his bed. Anyway, the point being is that Andrew feels entitled and clearly enjoys being in front of the cameras, enjoys being centre of attention. We saw that, of course, with the Falklands War. He was a war hero in the 1980s. That was probably his peak point in terms of public affection for him. Then it went downhill. And I think we just saw that. Queen Elizabeth clearly was very ill at the time. She'd lost her husband. The other members of the royal family were busy doing their duties, and she wanted her son to walk her down the aisle in Westminster Abbey.
And just for the sake of clarity, so the additional things that have emerged in the last week or so, especially this latest Epstein email.
Yeah.
So does that contradict some of the things he said to Emily Maitlis and said to us all, didn't he, really? Does that contradict it?
So it would appear so. So the email came out of US Congress files, which appears to contradict Prince Andrew's version of events when it comes to cutting off his friendship with the convicted paedophile Jeffrey Epstein. He told Emily Maitlis during that Newsnight interview that he met Jeffrey Epstein in Central Park in New York City, which is where that infamous photo of the two of them was taken, which Emily Maitlis asked him about. That photograph was taken. Prince Andrew told Emily Maitlis that was the last time I spoke to him, to say, I can't speak to you again. You have been convicted of child sexual offences. But this email appears to have been written far later than that photograph and that conversation took place, which suggests that Prince Andrew wasn't entirely telling the truth during that interview.
What did it say again, that email, what were roughly?
We are in this together, was the quote, which clearly is not a good look.
Grim.
And that was over a week ago, Patrick, and we've now had, what, 2 or 3 extra scandals since then, which has clearly led to tonight. We have the Chinese spy scandal, him basically, when he was a trade envoy for the United Kingdom, meeting a very senior Chinese Communist Party official, which is at the centre of this British spy scandal we've had over the last week on 3 separate occasions. Clearly, as a Prince of the Realm, as still in the line of succession, not a great look. And we have Virginia Giuffre's memoir coming out on Tuesday. We've had some extracts of that released in the papers over the last few days, basically detailing the 3 separate occasions which Prince Andrew is alleged to have had sex with a 17-year-old girl, something he's always denied. But the theory is, or the thought is, or the fear is, that more details are going to come out next week.
Let's just play a little clip in a second now, because this is Virginia Giuffre, who's obviously now passed away, but this was an interview that she did in relation to Prince Andrew, so we'll play this clip.
He knows what happened. I know what happened. And there's only one of us telling the truth.
OK, so that was Virginia Giuffre there. I believe there's a gentleman here. What would you like to us there? Hello.
So will Prince Andrew actually live in the Royal Lodge still?
Great question. Fantastic question.
It is a great question, and the answer is yes. The King can't really kick him out, which I think is probably annoying quite a lot of the audience here tonight as well, and probably the public watching at home as well. So the problem is, for the King, is that Prince Andrew has a private tenancy agreement, like anybody else does, with the Crown Estate. And although that's kind of owned by King Charles and the right of the Crown, it is a separate, independent, you know, portfolio of lands and property. And Prince Andrew, in the early 2000s, signed a very long lease with Royal Lodge, which is a mansion on the Windsor estate, 75-year lease until 2078, which means as long as he can afford the rent and as long as he affords the upkeep, he is legally entitled to stay there. Now, the question could be, should Prince Andrew do the honourable thing, move out of Royal Lodge, which is a massive mansion on the Windsor Castle estate, and move to somewhere smaller within the guarded perimeter of Windsor Castle? But clearly he has decided not to do that.
Well, because it's Prince Andrew. Yeah, exactly.
Well,
Okay, and I think I know which way this is going to go, but do you think he should leave that Royal Lodge? What do you think? Yes. Where would you like to see him live? Slough? Something like that?
Well, the suggestion is he'd move into Harry and Meghan's old house in Frogmore Cottage.
Hasn't it seen enough?
Yeah.
Hasn't it? Oh, if those walls could talk. Anyway, all right, well, can we just say a big thank you to Cameron, as our wonderful royal correspondent. Well done, and well done, guys, as well. A series of, and ladies, of course, a series of fantastic questions there. We're going to part company with Cameron now. We're going to bring my panel in. I can't wait to find out what the likes of Adam Brooks and Christo and Chloe and Barry make of the latest Prince Andrew revelations as well. So we're going to be talking about all of that. It's not the only story in town, though, by the way. Just a quick throw ahead to a couple of other little bits and bobs that I've got for you as well. There is this ongoing issue when it comes to the football fans from Israel coming to, or not coming to, Birmingham. There's quite a devastating picture that's emerged of Sir Keir Starmer at an event where basically he called for Israel to be booted out of FIFA. I'm also going to show you a clip of some stuff that's being said inside some mosques in Birmingham, which I think goes a long way to explaining, really, I would argue, the political Islamification of Britain. We're going to have a conversation about whether or not we think that's much of a problem. And, of course, it looks like Labour might cancel the local elections because they're afraid of reform. So lots to go at tonight. It's not just Prince Andrew, but, of course, it's time now for the Great British Giveaway. There are now only 2 weeks left, so get your entries in. 30 grand in tax-free cash. Rachel Reese can't get a little mitts on it. And a motorhome as well. Here's how you can be in it to win it.
There's 2 weeks remaining in our latest greatest giveaway, and a prize worth over £104,000 really could be yours. You could be in the driving seat of this Benamar Primera motorhome. This luxurious home from home comes with all the mod cons, comfortably sleeps your family of 4, and comes fully kitted out with bicycle rack and side awning. Plus, you can use it with your current driving licence. We'll also boost your bank account with a whopping £30,000 in tax-free cash to spend on anything you like. It only takes one entry to become a winner, and that winner really could be you. For another chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entry starts at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge, or post your name and number to GB16 PO Box 8690, Derby, DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrants must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 31st of October. The winner will be contacted live on GB News, week commencing 10th of November. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Right, just quickly, the Sun's front page has landed.
Band old Duke of York.
Band old Duke of York. Well done. Oh, well done. A doff of the cap to everyone at the Sun. I'll see you in a second, everyone.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
no,
isn't it?
No,
because the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact is Trump made a good start. No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints. How many fingers have I got up?
About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m, only on GB News.
Decisions made in Washington aren't just shaping America, they're shaping Britain too. From migration to global security, from crime to health. Whatever happens in the White House today
will be felt in your town or city tomorrow.
That's why The Late Show is live from Washington, D.C.
Cutting through the politics to show you what it all means for Britain.
The Late Show live every night at midnight.
Only on GB News,
Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akweer, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back, everybody. Look, loads of different topics in town. We're going to stick with the big breaking stuff, though, and it's Prince Andrew is giving up all of his royal titles and honours, including the Duke of York. You've all seen all the clips by him. We know he doesn't sweat. We know he enjoys Pizza Express. So let's get straight in with the panel. Adam Brooks, I will start with you. So he says that he's decided to do this because he's always put his family and his country first.
What a load of nonsense. I wouldn't trust this man with anything. I think he's a creep. I think he's seedy. I think he's brought shame on the royal family, shame on the country. He's embarrassed us on the world stage. To have a friend like Epstein says it all for me. I think there's more to come out. The email where he ended it like, let's play again soon. Look, you just have to use your imagination with that. I'm not accusing him of anything. Obviously, I don't want to be sued. But that man is atrocious. And I can't bear to look at him on our TV screens.
Well, what do we make of that? People broadly agree with that? Yeah. Christo, we often call you broadcasting royalty.
Yes.
Do you now want to distance yourself from that?
No, because soon I'll be the only one left that is not plagued with scandal, and that's saying something, to be quite honest. I mean, I love the statement as well. In discussion with the king, he was dragged in and was told, sorry. And do you remember a few weeks ago, so I'm joining up dots now here, do you remember a few weeks ago, and I think we discussed it on the show, Prince William was saying, I'm going to modernise the royal family, and we were saying, what would he do? What could he do? Like, we can't slim it down anymore. Well, actually, I think that was a hint to say, well, when I'm king, he's out on his ear. And I think that is actually what's happened now. This, to me, it stinks of William. This is Prince William saying, we want him out because there's probably more to come out, firstly, that it is tainting the royal family completely. I mean, he's trying to be honourable, as you said, by saying, I'm putting my duty and my family and my country first. Well, you weren't doing any of that when you were emailing Epstein, were you? Or
and lying to his mother.
And visiting him to say, I need to not be... I mean, imagine going to visit a paedophile to say, sorry, I don't want to be your friend anymore. I mean, that is just... that wasn't thinking about your country then. I mean, he is just monumentally dishonourable. He's also as thick as two short planks because, he's never had to have any common sense. I mean, he has people putting toothpaste on a toothbrush for him, so why would he have the common sense to think, I won't be friends with a pedo?
Well, there are also, quite persistent interviews of people who have, at times worked around the royal estate who have said that he's not a particularly nice chap in terms of the way he treats staff and in terms of the way he talks to people and all of that, playing into that entitled Andy thing there as well. A couple of points as well. I think what's really driven this home as well is that in the last week we've had him embroiled in another Chinese spy scandal. That's his second one. We've also had Virginia Giuffre's posthumous, what do you call it, memoir, I don't know, autobiography, whatever it is, in which he says some incredibly seedy things about him. Like, he basically thought that having sex with her was his birthright. He denies all of that, by the way. But the
picture, we've got the picture of them together as well. Let's not forget that, which he thinks might have been doctored.
Yeah, well, with Prince Andrew, it turns out there's always a picture. So, like, we've had it with the Chinese spy thing, again, shaking hands with another guy who's believed to be a Chinese spy master. The Epstein email. This is all in the last week, and it looks as though the palace have just gone, you're done.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's absolutely crazy that he's saying I've always put my family and my country first. I mean, he completely lacks any humility whatsoever. He's clearly a man with a very inflated ego. A lot of people who have dealt with him would say along the lines of the fact he's a very, very arrogant man to deal with. And I think it's crazy that he has clung on for this long. I mean, the scandals just do not stop coming. He's still going to be, it would seem, staying in the Royal Lodge and clinging on to it. It's a 30-bedroom, not 30, but a 30-room property.
Thank God they're not calling it the Royal Cottage anymore, because that's not a word I think that should be associated with him.
I know. I mean, if he was going to do the right thing and be humble, then ages ago he would have removed himself, got rid of the title of the Duke of York, and just left that place, left that residence, and just gone and lived a separate life somewhere else and stay quiet. But then he's continued to try and show up to things. He turned up to the King's coronation, for example, and they're just trying to get rid of him. He's like a bad smell that you just can't get rid of.
Yeah, a couple of other points of...
He's clearly been pushed as opposed to this being his own decision.
Absolutely. Just a couple of other points here, some questions that people might be asking. So, will Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie's titles be affected? No. So they're still... Both. It's not their fault, is it? It's not their fault, their daddies, I suppose. We've also got, will he still be called a prince? We spoke about this earlier. Yes, that's because of his birth. We would require an Act of Parliament to change that. Sorry. So, and also as well, in terms of the Sarah, Duchess of York, what's her title going to be? Well, for many years she's just used Sarah Ferguson in a professional capacity, so it looks as though she's just going to continue to live with him, and that's going to be her setup. And she's
tainted as well, though, by the Epstein emails.
Well, yeah, it's part of why they get on.
Well, all of the charities have dropped her now, so both of them are just
in disgrace.
Exactly. Well, let's bring up Barry Gardner on this. So, Barry, would you support? Because Keir Starmer would essentially have to pass an Act of Parliament to get him stripped of the Prince title. Would you support that?
Look, I think there would be conversations between Number 10 and the Palace before that could happen. But I just want to say I think the King's done exactly the right thing in forcing him to step down. If it was, as Christys suggests, initiated by Prince Harry, then good on... sorry, by Prince William, then good on Prince William. And I think the whole nation will breathe a sigh of relief that we now can stop talking about him.
I don't know whether we will, because I think more will come out. But also, like, the gravity of this. I mean, this is unbelievable that the King's brother, a duke, has had this stripped from him. That is absolutely just unbelievable.
I believe this is the first time it's happened since 1917.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
I just can't. Should they have done it earlier? Do you think? Yes. I get that he's doing the right thing now, and I do want to. But as Barry's rightly said, actually, I think we should be praising the Palace for ultimately making the right decision here, wherever that's come from. Absolutely, but should it not have just happened earlier?
Look, can I just say, was it the Queen that put up the money for the payoff?
She helped him pay it off. 12 million quid, I think. At the end of the day, then the royals are complicit in that, in my opinion. That was a terrible look. You do not... If I was accused of something, I would want to clear my name. I would not be paying someone off if I was innocent.
Well, the idea was that the Queen helped pay for this because she thought that would clear the air. Yeah. Same with the Emily Maitlis interview.
And she
signed off on this thinking this would clear the air, and then he said all sorts of silly things in that interview. Strange claims about Pizza Express and the sweating condition and all sorts.
That's probably where they're hosting a surprise, farewell dukedom party is in Pizza Express in Woking at the moment. They're thrilled that from now on they won't be associated with him.
Max.
Exactly.
Heating on Max. Everyone's just sweating. There you go. Go on, Barry.
No, I think, the Queen was the most amazing stateswoman, but she was also a mother. I think it must be very difficult to come to terms being a mother if your son is... if you feel that your son is disgracing you, the family, or anybody else. And so I understand why it could not happen until her passing. But I think the royal family and the household has done the right thing now.
Well, she loved him so much. She gave him the corgis. I do hope he's keeping them well groomed.
Just quickly on that, I would not defend my son if he was embroiled in a possible paedophile
Of course not.
case.
Yeah.
I would not stand by any family member that was involved in that or allegedly involved.
But I'm sure she did not believe that he was.
Yes, well, exactly. And also, well, we'll just say the final statement final sentence of Prince Andrew's statement. As I have said previously, I vigorously deny the accusations against me. Now, Barry says something quite good there as well, not for the first time, of course, which was that maybe we can stop talking about him. And we are now going to stop talking about him until a little bit later on. But we've got a lot of other stuff on tonight because we're going to be talking about this very important issue.
That is the character of a Muslim, who has a Muslim as a rahmah.
So there you go, that's an imam at a mosque that apparently is attended by one of the Gaza gang MPs that was desperate to ban the Israeli football team. Footage also shows Sir Keir Starmer telling the Chinese that he's very pleased about their new super embassy. Is there any issue that he's not been on the wrong side of? Stay tuned.
Evening. The weekend promises a big change. Still, most of us, dry and cloudy tomorrow, but it should be a bit brighter than today. And then things really change through Saturday night and into Sunday as we see things turning wet and windy because of this area of low pressure moving in, finally replacing our area of high pressure. But that high is still with us at the moment. There is still a little bit of light rain here and there. Been a few showers through the day across the south coast of England and in northeast Scotland. Much of northern Scotland, though, hanging on to clear skies, which will allow it to turn quite chilly and also perhaps a little foggy. Further south, temperatures holding up with the cloud at 8 to 10 degrees Celsius, but a chance of a pocket or two of frost in northern Scotland where we've got those clearer skies. The thickest cloud out west still producing a little bit of light rain and drizzle in the morning for maybe Northern Ireland. Still perhaps across the Northern Isles the odd light shower too, but much of northern Scotland starts the weekend chilly, perhaps foggy as well, but should see some good spells of sunshine here. Elsewhere, like it has been for much of the week, sunshine in short supply, a lot of cloud sitting around, but generally that cloud a bit higher than today, so it won't be quite so gloomy. And a better chance of seeing some more breaks in the cloud across southwest England, maybe East Anglia in the southeast, North Wales, northwest England. So chance of seeing some sunny spells here and there, but I think the lion's share of the sunshine will be across northern Scotland. Elsewhere, again, the odd light shower, but most places just staying dry and fairly drab. A little bit warmer than today, 14, 15, maybe 16 degrees, perhaps 17 if we see some sunshine. But look at this, all changed. The rain moves in from the west during Saturday night and then lingers for much of Sunday. The rain could be pretty heavy over eastern parts of Northern Ireland. Met Office yellow warning in place here. Heavy bursts likely elsewhere too, but slowly moving through. So parts of the west do turn a bit brighter come Sunday afternoon. But for many, Sunday is a soggy affair and increasingly windy to boot.
In the GB newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m.
only on GB News.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Another huge story has landed today. China has warned Britain that we will face consequences because Sir Keir Starmer has delayed a planning decision on a new super embassy in London. People in this room think we should tell China where to go? Yeah, would you rather we just stood up to China, who've relentlessly been spying on us for goodness knows how long? Well, anyway, Britain is accused of, quote, showing disregard for contractual spirit with a foreign ministry spokesman in China. Yes, this is the same China that hacked the NHS, hacked the Ministry of Defence, hacked the Electoral Commission that had 40 million of our details gone to them, appears to have hacked number 10. They've probably hacked me. They've probably hacked us all. You know, but oh gosh, we've shown them disrespect here. So look, and there was also a clip that emerged of Sir Keir Starmer appearing to say how happy he was that we were going to get a new Chinese super embassy. So not great, is it? Adam, should Keir Starmer tell China where to go?
Yeah, I think we're looking very weak on the world stage. I have to question this government. I'm not accusing them of being compromised, but as someone on the outside of government, it really looks like they are compromised. We're giving international territory in the Chagos Islands to a China ally. It makes absolutely no sense. All the people that are really up on all this and foreign affairs cannot make sense of why we gave the Chagos Islands to Mauritius. It looks like China have something over us. And I think Dominic Cummings said the spy agencies have said that China would possibly have their own spy agency at the bottom of the embassy. So it could be a national security threat. Why are we doing that?
But so just for context, by the way, this is not just like a building in London. It's a 600,000 square foot mega embassy, and the basement of which apparently we're not allowed to see the plans for.
Dominic Cummings actually said that he was explicitly told by security services that China was plotting to build a spy base under the new London embassy. Well, my question is, given that Dominic Cummings was in 10 Downing Street between 2019 and 2020, that's before he went to get his eyes tested in Barnard Castle, why didn't he do something about it then? And why did the Conservative government not do anything about it for the next 4 years? Now, there was a planning fight between the Chinese embassy proposal and Tower Hamlets that eventually was getting stalemated. And what Labour did was they said, we will call this planning dispute in because it's been rumbling on for years. And Angela Rayner was then the head of the department, so she was the Secretary of State that called it in. So this latest, you've not observed your contract, was they said that they would determine it by October the 21st. But now that she is not, now that she is not the Secretary of State, they've extended that to December the 10th before determining the planning application. And actually, China is sounding off that there's going to be a delay of whatever it is, a month and a half.
Would you support this whopping great big Chinese embassy, given what they've been doing to us?
As you will appreciate, I would not be allowed to comment on an extant planning decision. But this was something... I don't mind who has an embassy wherever, but what I do mind is that the plans that were shown and given to Angela Rayner had redacted parts of it.
Right.
I don't think that you can properly scrutinise a planning application if there are redacted parts on that application, because you don't know what you're approving or vetoing.
I think you're massively underestimating how serious this embassy is as a security risk. Of both the spy case collapsing and the embassy story, I think this is the one that we really need to be concerned about. We have got this embassy plan where it's going to be over the cables that lead to the financial district. That would then give China potentially the power to just cut off the cables to the financial district, potentially hack into information, really important information. That's extremely dangerous. And what was absurd to me was we were hearing that the security services were not even given the option to give their say in this planning application. Now it's been extended. I really hope that that is the case. And then we were also hearing that the Chinese company that owns British Steel, who apparently are owed £1 billion by the government, they were saying, "Oh, we'll waive the £1 billion if you approve the embassy." I mean, there's a lot of dodgy stuff going on, and the greyed out area.
They're not our friends. We try to think, oh, then Cameron's got a huge amount to blame for this. You know, if we welcome the Chinese into the country, maybe they'll liberalise. No,
it was the new golden era, according to David Cameron.
They just see it as a complete weakness, and they come in right. Chris, you're looking confused.
No, do you know what? I was just thinking that my Labour council wouldn't give me planning permission because my parapet on my extension was 4 inches too high. Now, why is that not allowed? But Labour can give an embassy, a sort of super basement, which is going to be a spy headquarters, which is going to sort of...
It's not been determined.
And in fact... Great. Sorry, fingers crossed Angela Rayner was across it. Great, hurrah!
A torture den as well. A torture den.
Sorry?
There's rumours of a Chinese torture den.
What is the address? Where is it? The Chinese torture den sounds terrible, awful. No, I'm sorry.
And you accuse me of not taking it seriously?
The problem is, right, the serious problem we have is that we can't make China our enemies. We can't, because we are reliant on them for all of the net zero nonsense that we've got at the moment. I mean, all of those, you know, we need those. We are. They're manufacturing half of the wind turbines.
But Christo, you can still have trade links with a country without allowing them to have some super embassy where they've got access to all the cables that supply the financial
district. I absolutely agree, but the problem is we are in too deep. We've given the Chagos to one of their allies. We've given that we need them for all of the net zero stuff. We need to be able to trade with them because we are so broke, and they do make all of those wind turbines.
That computer of yours, where is it made?
Well, exactly. We are all completely dependent, and all of those little Chinese children's fingers make a perfect.
You can't just give them a free pass to spy on us.
It doesn't mean you can't call it out. I'm sorry, but you either have a moral compass or you don't. And when it comes to the idea now that China has hacked basically everything you can flipping see, you should at least come out and have a go at them for it, because otherwise you're just weak, aren't you?
You are shutting the stable door and the horses at the glue factory.
Yeah, but you should still say something. I'm sorry. And by the way, I look forward, now we've got a ceasefire in Gaza, and it's only Hamas who's killing Palestinians over there now, by the way. I look forward to a lot of the pro-Palestine brigade coming out and starting to protest outside the Chinese embassy, because, of course, there is a genocide taking place in China against the Uyghur Muslims, aren't there? I wonder what time this Saturday that protest starts. Oh, no, it won't, will it? Anyway, coming up, a bit more of this.
So many people have died in this war, and we're gonna get it ended.
So, President Zelensky met President Donald Trump at the White House earlier today, and I will give you the very latest on whether or not it's the end of another war. Stay tuned.
I'm Michelle Dewberry. This is Jubes & Co. with you.
Hello, everyone. Patrick Christys here. GBNews,
Britain's news channel.
Access the stories that matter to you. Take the GBNews family with you on any device. And as long as you have an internet connection, tune in to GB News, anywhere on the planet or beyond. GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
So he can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Dordme, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m. weekdays here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk then?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact that Trump made a good start, no.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up? About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Decisions made in Washington aren't just shaping America, they're shaping Britain too. From migration to global security, from crime to health. Whatever happens in the White House today
will be felt in your town or city tomorrow.
That's why The Late Show is live from Washington, D.C.
Cutting through the politics to show you what it all means for Britain.
The Late Show live every night at midnight.
Only on GB News,
Britain's news channel.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice
first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pierce.
And me, Miriam Gates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m.
only on GB News.
No matter the state it's in, this is our nation. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for a genuine, honest discussion on where we have been, where we are going, and where we are with the people who set the direction. Tune in to State of the Nation every Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock, only on GB News.
Welcome back to Patrick Christys Night. Coming up, a very compromising picture of Sir Keir Starmer and a very compromising video of a mosque in Birmingham. But before we get to that, are we about to have two wars ended in a week? Well, Volodymyr Zelensky offered President Trump thousands of Ukrainian-made drones in exchange for American Tomahawk missiles. As the pair met in the White House earlier this evening, President Trump said that the missiles could escalate tensions, adding that his call with President Putin, he thinks that the Russian president is ready to end the war.
Talking about what took place yesterday with my phone call with President Putin. And I think that things are coming along pretty well. And we'd like to see if we could finish it, end it. We want it ended. So many people have died in this war, and we're gonna get it ended. So.
Well, Chloe Dobbs sat through this entire press conference. Your takeaway from this, are we nearly the end of war?
Potentially. I mean, I wouldn't speak too soon. I mean, as we've seen, this has been quite a complicated war to try and end. Trump, I think, naively thought that it would be very easy to end the war when he first came in, and it's taken quite a long time. I mean, that first meeting in the Oval Office with Zelensky, where it all ended on a big bust-up, was very disappointing. But I think the tone is a lot more hopeful today. I think Zelensky was sounding much more willing to bring this war to an end, whereas the first time he went, he sounded like he just wanted to keep going no matter what and not give anything up to Putin. Trump says he's spoken to Putin for 2.5 hours on the phone, and he seems like he's much more willing to bring the war to an end. But you just don't know with Putin. You don't know if he's bluffing, because that was the impression that we got last time Trump met with Putin, and then it didn't quite happen, and Trump was really disappointed. But there's a big change of tone in that Trump is much more willing to be harsh on Putin than he was before, threatening the Tomahawk missiles.
I mean, aside from obviously the devastating loss of life, I can't wait for the war to end so all of our bills can come down. I mean, they used Ukraine as the excuse for absolutely flipping everything, didn't they? Your local shop, your energy bills, your gas bills, your petrol bills, everything. Ukraine.
Yeah.
You know,
that's why Rachel Reeves screwed up on the budget. Ukraine.
That's
why Angela Rayner didn't pay a stamp duty. Ukraine.
Absolutely
everything now.
Yeah.
Prince Andrew.
Ukraine. Gosh, it was raining earlier. Ukraine, wasn't it?
It was Ukraine.
Oh, well done,
Thank
Christy.
you.
Right. So, I mean, do we think we're going to get this ended?
Well, I mean, it would be nice if it ended, but also what you have to realise is what will Zelensky give up? Because Putin will need to save face in some ways. Putin isn't just going to say, right, OK, well, it was nice to have been here, see you all later, and withdraw completely. So we've got that side of things. What hasn't happened before, though, with this Tomahawk missile situation is the reason that is being cited, and I don't know how true this is, that Putin is coming back to the table, is because these missiles could put Moscow in range of Ukraine, which is why, obviously, you know, Putin would not want that.
Yeah, they've got a range of 1,500 miles, whereas the other missiles they have only have got like a few hundred miles.
Exactly, they don't get to Moscow. So there is that aspect of it, but obviously that would then mark an escalation. So I think that Trump, I mean, I don't know whether Trump thinks like this, whether there's method to his madness, but there is this balancing act, isn't there?
But Putin does. And Putin will now be stalling for time, as we've seen, because we're now talking about a further meeting, right? We've had Alaska, we've had this, we've now got the further meeting. And what Putin will do is he'll launch an offensive before the winter sets in, so that he can actually get more ground before then. And that's why this talking is going on.
All right. Look, we're going to whiz those on. The next hour, if I'm being honest, as much as I loved that last hour, the next hour is what I'm really looking forward to. We're going to have a little bit of this.
Maccabi Tel Aviv football club should not even be playing within this international competition.
Pakistan-born pro-Gaza MP Ayub Khan celebrated Israeli fans being banned from Birmingham. I've got a clip for you from the inside of a mosque that he reportedly attends, where there is someone who many people might describe as a radical preacher saying some really quite fruity things. They do.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Evening. The weekend promises a big change. Still, most of us dry and cloudy tomorrow, but it should be a bit brighter than today. And then things really change through Saturday night and into Sunday as we see things turning wet and windy because of this area of low pressure moving in, finally replacing our area of high pressure. But that high is still with us at the moment. There is still a little bit of light rain here and there. Been a few showers through the day across the south coast of England and in northeast Scotland. Much of northern Scotland, though, hanging on to clear skies, which will allow it to turn quite chilly and also perhaps a little foggy. Further south, temperatures holding up with the cloud at 8 to 10 degrees Celsius, but a chance of a pocket or two of frost in northern Scotland where we've got those clearer skies. The thickest cloud out west still producing a little bit of light rain and drizzle in the morning for maybe Northern Ireland. Still perhaps across the Northern Isles the odd light shower too, but much of northern Scotland starts the weekend chilly, perhaps foggy as well, but should see some good spells of sunshine here. Elsewhere, like it has been for much of the week, sunshine in short supply, a lot of cloud sitting around, but generally that cloud a bit higher than today, so it won't be quite so gloomy, and a better chance of seeing some more breaks in the cloud across southwest England, maybe East Anglia in the southeast, North Wales, northwest England, so chance of seeing some sunny spells here and there, but I think the lion's share of the sunshine will be across northern Scotland. Elsewhere, again, the odd light shower, but most places just staying dry and fairly drab. A little bit warmer than today, 14, 15, maybe 16 degrees, perhaps 17 if we see some sunshine. But look at this, all changed. The rain moves in from the west during Saturday night and then lingers for much of Sunday. The rain could be pretty heavy over eastern parts of Northern Ireland. Met Office yellow warning in place here. Heavy bursts likely elsewhere too, but slowly moving through. So parts of the west do turn a bit brighter come Sunday afternoon. But for many, Sunday is a soggy affair and increasingly windy to boot.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
There's 2 weeks remaining in our latest, greatest giveaway. You could be in the driving seat of this Benamar Primera motorhome. This luxurious home from home comes with all the mod cons. Plus, you can use it with your current driving licence. We'll also boost your bank account with a whopping £30,000 in tax-free cash to spend on anything you like. It only takes one entry to become a winner. For another chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB16 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 31st of October. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m. weekdays here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akweer, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave. I'm so surprised. I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Decisions made in Washington aren't just shaping America, they're shaping Britain too. From migration to global security, from crime to health. Whatever happens in the White House today
will be felt in your town or city tomorrow.
That's why The Late Show is live from Washington, D.C.
Cutting through the politics to show you what it all means for Britain.
The Late Show live every night at midnight.
Only on GB News,
Britain's news channel.
In the GB newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK, we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News, the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m. only on GB News.
Well, good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming. Hello, hello. That is a fabulous jacket again. Hello, sir. Hello at the back. All right. Hello, hello, hello. Right. Well. Oh, it's quite a bit of news flying around tonight, isn't there? I think it's 10 p.m. I'm Patrick Christys. Tonight.
I've questioned myself as to why did I go, what was I doing, and was it the right thing to do?
Goodness gracious me, Prince Andrew, hey, he's given up all his titles and...
Fils de pute! Charmota! Persona!
Well, Sir Keir Starmer now claims that he's going to reverse that Jewish fan ban, but there's a bombshell picture that's emerged of him at an event to ban Israel from FIFA. Look, he can say what he likes now he's in power. We all know what Sir Keir Starmer really thinks about things, don't we? And...
You raised the Chinese embassy building in London when we spoke on the telephone, and we have since taken action.
Well, Prince Andrew might enjoy a pizza, but it looks like Sir Keir Starmer definitely likes the Chinese, doesn't it? So, there he is. Another clip there of Sir Keir Starmer cozying up to the Chinese about this super embassy. Oh, I'm not really sure that he's wise to do that. Also...
So many people have died in this war, and we're gonna get it ended.
Is it the end, do we think, now of the Russia-Ukraine war? There was that meeting in the White House earlier, and...
Is a complete, total outrage. It'll mean that people elected back in 2021 will be serving 6, 7, who knows how long their terms will be.
Gosh, you know, it's interesting, isn't it? In all Keir Starmer's time as a human rights lawyer, you know, fighting against things like a dictatorship everywhere, trying to stand up for human rights. Well, it looks like Labour might cancel local elections again because they're scared of reform. Oh, yes, we've got this as well.
We are here every day and every night of every year. From newborn to old age. We never panic.
Well, forget Rachel Reeves's black hole. Apparently, the medical negligence bill for the NHS is £60 billion. So what I want to know from you is, are you scared to use the NHS? On my panel tonight, we've got businessman and activist Adam Brooks. Broadcasting royalty Christo Fufas. Political commentator Chloe Dobbs. And Labour MP Barry Gardner. Oh, it's got worse, Barry. It's got worse. Right, and we are going to be talking... We're going to be talking about this because, look, just remember when West Midlands Police tell you that they had no choice but to stop the Israeli fans from coming to Birmingham, here you go.
Salam alaikum. Good morning, everyone, and thank you to the leaders and elders that have afforded me this opportunity to speak to you.
Can we all just take a quick moment to thank the leaders and the elders, please, everybody, for... so big thank you to the leaders and the elders. Yes, thank you, thank you. They've afforded us all the opportunity to talk to you tonight. Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Pizza Express, anyone? Next.
A very good evening to you, just after 10 o'clock here in the GB newsroom.
Prince Andrew's giving up all of his royal titles and honours, including the Duke of York. Andrew will put his titles in abeyance and will relinquish his position of Knight of the Garter after coming under huge pressure from the King, although he will remain a prince. His ex-wife, Sarah, the Duchess of York, will follow suit, and she'll be known simply as Sarah Ferguson. And the development follows a string of new scandals concerning his friendship with Jeffrey Epstein and his relationship with an alleged Chinese spy. In a statement, Prince Andrew said continued accusations about him were distracting from the work of the royal family, but he continued to vigorously deny any wrongdoing. The Daily Mail's editor-at-large, Charlotte Griffiths, says the situation had become untenable.
He had to give it up himself, essentially, to save further drama, further headlines, further scene stealing from other royals. So it's a rare moment, really, of self-awareness from the Duke of York to actually fall on his sword. But I know he's been under a lot of pressure. And you mentioned Prince William there. I think Prince William was very involved. Prince William is furious about the situation. And, you know, he is the future of the monarchy going forward. And he wants to protect it. And I'm afraid Andrew was, of course, a huge liability.
Donald Trump says he thinks Vladimir Putin is ready to end the war in Ukraine, but has cast doubt over plans to supply Ukraine with long-range weapons. The US president held talks with Volodymyr Zelensky at the White House earlier, but said his upcoming meeting with Vladimir Putin in Hungary is unlikely to result in three-way talks to end the war. Now, Zelensky, the Ukrainian president, proposed a weapons deal with the US that would allow his country to use Tomahawk cruise missiles in the war, but the US president warned it could result in an escalation.
I think he wants to make a deal, that's all. I can't tell you what's bringing him. Sure, the threat of that is good, but the threat of that is always there. They're an amazing weapon. They're a very powerful weapon, but they're a very dangerous weapon, and it could mean big, escalation. It could mean a lot of bad things can happen. Tomahawks are a big deal.
Government says it's doing everything in its power to overturn a ban on Israeli fans attending a match in Birmingham. Police and council officials banned Maccabi Tel Aviv supporters over safety concerns after classifying their game next month against Aston Villa as high risk, citing violence that occurred during a Europa League match between Ajax and Maccabi in Amsterdam in November. Now, Downing Street says it's working with police and exploring what additional resources may be required, with the Home Secretary, Shabana Mahmood, saying they want to ensure all fans can safely attend the game. Now, the Prime Minister, along with leaders of the opposition and indeed the Liberal Democrat leader, Sir Ed Davey, have all called for the ban to be overturned. 3 neo-Nazi extremists have been jailed for planning terror attacks on synagogues and mosques. Brogan Stewart, Christopher Ringrose and Marco Pizzetto have been sentenced to 11, 10 and 8 years respectively. Sheffield Crown Court heard how they're preparing for a race war and were planning to use more than 200 weapons, including crossbows, machetes and a 3D printed gun. Finally, King Charles is to become the first British monarch to pray with the Pope since the Reformation in the 16th century. The historic moment will take place at the Sistine Chapel during the King and Queen's state visit to the Vatican next week. It's being seen as a significant moment in relations between the Catholic Church and the Church of England, of which Charles is the supreme governor. And that's it for the moment. I'll be back with more at 11.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Thank you to my live studio audience. Now, we have got a bumper hour for you, and I just want to tease ahead to this quickly.
That is the character of a Muslim, who has a Muslim as a rahmah.
So, we all know what's going on in Birmingham, or not happening. The Jewish fans, of course, are not allowed. It's a no-go zone. That is an imam at a mosque that is reportedly, anyway, attended by that local Gaza Gang MP. And there's some quite interesting stuff to come out about all of that, which I'll be revealing for you in about 10 minutes' time. But we really have to start with the breaking news. And it is that Prince Andrew will give up all of his royal titles. It seems like it's hit a bit of a tipping point. And, you know, he's had 3 scandals back to back to back in the last week or so, hasn't he? We've had the Epstein email saying that, what was it, we remain friends or something, what was it, or something like that? We're in this together, let's play again. Yeah, we're all in this together, let's play again, which is a bit weird and sordid. Then, of course, there's been a second Chinese spy scandal for him. Virginia Giuffre's got a memoir coming out in which he says all sorts of stuff about how he felt like it was his birthright to have sex with her at a time, which he denies. But let's just remind ourselves how it all started for Prince Andrew.
You regret the whole friendship with Epstein?
Now, still not. And the reason being is that the people that I met and the opportunities that I was given to learn, either by him or because of him, were actually very useful.
What a disgusting, horrific, seedy, sordid thing to say, in light of what we now know, which is that he carried on communicating with paedophile Jeffrey Epstein way after he said that he had. He still didn't regret it. I still don't regret it. But, of course, his excuses were, in a weird way, comedy gold, weren't they?
On that particular day that we now understand is the date, which is the 10th of March, I was at home. I was with the children. I'd taken Beatrice to a Pizza Express in Woking for a party at, I suppose, sort of 4 or 5 in the afternoon. I have a peculiar medical condition, which is that I don't sweat, or I didn't sweat at the time.
Oh, gosh, there we go. Well, difficult to know where to start, really. I don't know, is anyone hungry? Does anyone fancy... Well, you're looking a bit hot there, Christy. Were you all right? You're a bit sweaty there, mate? All right? OK. Gosh.
Oh, that's not... There we are. Left over?
It's just left over, yeah.
It's... Oh, what is it? Hang on. Oh, it's Prince Andrew's meat feast.
Right.
You know what? I'll decline, thanks.
Yes, absolutely.
Not for me.
No, of course not. Well, there we are. So, right, so Prince Andrew's statement, for what it's worth, in discussion with the King and my immediate and wider family, we have concluded the continued accusations against me distract from the work of His Majesty and the royal family. I have decided, as I always have, to put my duty to my family and my country first. I stand by my decision 5 years ago to stand back from public life. With His Majesty's agreement, we feel I must now go a step further. I will therefore no longer use my title or the honours which have been conferred upon me. As I have said previously, I vigorously deny the accusations against me. Christo.
I mean, honestly, like, it's so pious, isn't it? So, I'm going to be honourable. I have decided I will put my duty to my family and country first. I stand by my decision to be friends with a paedophile. I mean, this is exactly like what he said in the interview. You know, I guess I'm just too honourable. Oh. Like, there is no humility in this, as you said earlier, Chloe. There's no apology either. You know, I'm sorry for the shame that I've brought to my poor mother, the late Queen, who was dying, who bailed me out for millions. I'm sorry to my brother, who I've absolutely tainted. I'm sorry to my children, who I've tainted by remaining friends with a paedophile. How many people are emailing Jeffrey Epstein as well? There's Mandelson, there's Sarah Ferguson, there's the Duke
That's a dinner party you don't want to go to.
It really is. I mean, maybe the pizza would be appropriate there. Absolutely awful. And I'm sorry, he's not the Duke of York, he's the puke of York, because it makes you want to throw up.
Just on that as well, you mentioned the Queen there. So she helped bail him out. He obviously had told her... well, I think it's just fair to say it looks as though he's probably lied to her as well in her final years. And he must have known that these emails were coming out at some point. He must have known all this was hanging over his head. And despite all of that, he still let him walk her down the aisle at Prince Philip's memorial service to try to resurrect his tarnished reputation. We've got a clip of that, I believe. We've got a clip of that, I think. We'll have a clip of that in a second. Anyway, pretty disgusting stuff, I think, really.
Yeah, look, I think I said enough in the last hour. He disgusts me. I've gone off the royal family since the Queen died. I used to sit and watch the Queen with my nan, and it was lovely memories of that. But I'm not a Prince Charles fan, and I'm definitely not a Prince Andrew fan at all.
All right, let's just remind ourselves that clip now of him walking the late Queen down the aisle. OK, so some of the burning questions that still remain is he still technically a prince? Well, yes, just because of his birthright. There would have to be an Act of Parliament, as we understand it, passed to try to get that stripped off him. Princess Beatrice and Eugenie, they will still be princesses. Not really their fault, their dad is, I suppose. So kind of all right, really. Is he still a duke? Well, he's not going to be using his duke title now, so that's finished, isn't it? How much damage do you think this whole thing has actually done to the royal family as a whole, though, Chloe?
Oh, I mean, a huge amount of damage, because this has just rumbled on for years and years and years. The revelations just don't stop coming up. It seems at the moment that there's a new revelation each day, but this isn't something that's just been in the news for a week. This has just rumbled on and on and on. And he should have gone earlier. It would have done far less damage to the royal family if, as soon as there were first some big accusations came out, he said, look, I deny these, but I don't want to do damage to the royal family. I'm going to step back. But he just won't go away until now, where, although he sounded very pious, as Christo said, standing on a moral high horse there in that statement, I think we know the reality, which is that he went down kicking and screaming, and probably he was told by the King and by William, if you don't do this now, there's going to be an Act of Parliament, which is going to be far more embarrassing for you, so take your pick.
Yeah, I mean, there's no shame, is there, from Prince Andrew? No shame in all this. Even after all the accusations, even after it emerged that he'd continued a relationship with notorious paedophile Jeffrey Epstein, at every opportunity he's trying to muscle his way into the cameras. We're going to just remind ourselves of what Virginia Giuffre said, or at least part of it anyway.
He knows what happened. I know what happened. And there's only one of us telling the truth.
Yeah, well, there we go. So, Barry, look, the right decision's been made in the end. Should it have been made earlier? Well, how do you see this playing out going forward? I mean, don't mind me saying, you've been around the block, you've seen a few kind of scandals come and go and all of this stuff. Do you think there's more in the pipeline here? Is this why he's gone now?
Look, I don't know what's to come out, but what we do know is that we haven't yet seen the full Epstein files. God knows, I don't think many of us would actually want to read them, but they may hold, well, I'm sure they hold other things that are at the moment secret. I just think Christys was right when he said there should have been an apology. There should have been an apology to his brother, to his mother, to the nation. And I think, you know, we sing, God save our noble King, long live our gracious, our gracious King. There's no grace. There's no grace here. And it would have been the gracious thing to do to say, look, I'm sorry. This has caused a lot of distress to a lot of people. And even if you're still denying it, you can apologise for that distress.
The association. You say, I'm really sorry for being associated with this person.
That's right.
And the shame it's... But can I just really quickly say as well, do you remember that I remember reporting a lot on this at the time, that the Queen, one of the reasons she was so desperate to spend the money to get this done was because it was in the run-up to her final, as it turned out, Jubilee, which was the 70-year Jubilee, and she wanted a line drawn under it, because as it turned out, she probably knew that was going to be the final chance for her to say goodbye to the nation, and so that's why she spent this money.
I'm sorry, you do not give 12 million quid to someone that you've done nothing wrong to. You do not do that, and I think the nation knows something dodgy has gone on, and we don't believe him. In my opinion, you do not do that.
I mean, a lot of people will think that, again, I mean, the last line of his statement is, I vigorously deny the accusations against me. A lot of people will be thinking, because there's been 3 scandals that I've just outlined, again, in the last week, I was going to say, it screams to me as though members of the press have gone to various different, royal spokespeople.
Well, that's coming on the 21st of October.
On the 21st of October.
That's when the book is expected.
Virginia Giuffre's book. And ask the royals to comment on certain allegations, as you have to do. You have to go for right of replies to people, all of this stuff. And they obviously feel, I think, that there's some other stuff in the pipeline, and they just think, look, Andrew, you've got to go. Just go. Well, people in this room now, do you think that he should be stripped of his prince title?
Yes.
Okay.
What, just be like Andrew from Windsor.
Just Andy from Windsor.
Andy from Windsor.
You can't really monetise Andrew from Windsor as much as you can Prince Andrew, can you?
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see if he stays quiet or if he goes and takes up offers for various press interviews and does other embarrassing interviews where he says maybe he'll bring up Pizza Express again. But one of the benefits of him being part of the royal family is that the royal family's press team can kind of control him a little bit. This has been one of the big issues with Harry and Meghan. Is once they went off to America, they just couldn't control what these two say to the press. So that might turn out to be an issue with Andrew if still after this he tries to go out and defend himself. Because although he's put out this
Netflix series we'd get from him.
Oh no, can you imagine?
Just a couple of these quickly. I just want to say, I do have to say that obviously, just because you've paid someone out does not mean that this is an admission of guilt. In fact, he does not admit any guilt. But can we just play this footage of, this is William, Prince William, ignoring Prince Andrew, basically. So Prince Andrew doing the classic, positions himself next to the future king, tries to make some kind of quip. We're at a funeral here, by the way. Tries to make some kind of quip, a little witty remark. Oh, gosh, no, look at me. Oh, I've done a funny. Oh, I've done a funny. William there going, just jog on, you weird old man. Just get out of my life. Why am I related to you? I hate you. Oh, you disgust me. Get out of my life. And there we go. And then eventually now Prince Andrew has been told to totter off. So there we go. Right, when we come back, we have got some actually pretty bumper topics for you. I think the other big news of the day, and we were going to leave with this before Prince Andrew decided to jog on, was what's been going on in Birmingham. There are pictures that have emerged of Sir Keir Starmer that I think are quite compromising, to say the least, and also some footage from inside one of the mosques that we believe is, reportedly anyway, attended by one of these independent Gaza gang MPs who've been so forceful about banning Jewish football fans from coming to Birmingham. But before that, of course, it's the Great British Giveaway. Yay! OK. Massive motorhome, loads of cash. Here's how.
There's 2 weeks remaining in our latest, greatest giveaway, and a prize worth over £104,000 really could be yours. You could be in the driving seat at this Benamar Primera motorhome. This luxurious home from home comes with all the mod cons, comfortably sleeps your family of 4, and comes fully kitted out with bicycle rack and side awning. Plus, you can use it with your current driving licence. We'll also boost your bank account with a whopping £30,000 in tax-free cash to spend on anything you like. It only takes one entry to become a winner, and that winner really could be you. For another chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge, or post your name and number to GB16 PO Box 8690, Derby, DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrants must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 31st of October. The winner will be contacted live on GB News, week commencing 10th of November. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
OK, look, we've got loads more coming your way. The Maccabi Tel Aviv football fans have been banned. But, like I said, we've got some quite compromising footage from inside a mosque in Birmingham and a picture of Keir Starmer that he won't thank me for revealing to you. Stay tuned.
5 hosts, 5 opinions, 5 fearless debates, 5 unfiltered takes on the day's news.
5 reasons not to be anywhere else on Saturday night.
This is the Saturday 5. You got me good there. Britain's biggest Saturday night TV show. It's not a bad brand. Yeah. Uncensored. Very, very racy tonight on the unpredictable. What does she say? Can you translate it for us?
And always entertaining.
And how can a country go from being led by William Wallace Saturday nights from 6 p.m. only on GB News, the People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
You're going to want to stay tuned, trust me.
I'm Martin Daubney. This is GB News, Britain's news channel.
I'm Nana Acquia. This is GB News, Britain's news channel.
I'm Michael Portillo. This is GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
GB News Breakfast, every day from 6 a.m.
I think
solo travel can be really enriching. I think it helps build so many different skills. You have to problem solve, navigate different social interactions. It can be great for building confidence, mental health, resilience, and the interactions you have with people tend to be richer when you're traveling on your own. So I'm all for it. I think it can really help reset the mind and give you that confidence boost for sure.
70% of solo travellers are women. Why do you think that is?
I think in general, post-pandemic, we have seen people prioritising travel. I think because it was taken away from us and restricted for quite a long time, we've seen this general overall trend that people are prioritising travel, spending more on travel. And I think women in particular, in general, we do tend to get pulled in so many different directions. If you're a working mother and a partner, our lives are so hectic, and solo travel, I guess, for women just gives them a chance to have a little bit of a breather, have a little bit of an escape, recharge, and hopefully come back after their trip, you know, in a healthier, more refreshed mindset.
GB News, the People's Channel.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you to my live studio audience. Right, so we were going to lead the hour with this, but then Prince Andrew decided to, quit, I suppose. So, Sir Keir Starmer is the worst possible Prime Minister at the worst possible time for Britain. Pakistan-born pro-Gaza MP Ayub Khan celebrated Israeli fans being banned from Birmingham.
Maccabi Tel Aviv football club should not even be playing within this international competition.
But the Maccabi Tel Aviv fans don't speak for the government of Israel, do they?
Well, they don't.
So isn't it anti-Semitic to suggest they do?
Absolutely not. And therein lies the conflation. We jump to the issue of anti-Semitism. I mean, for example, the West Midlands police are being labelled as anti-Semitic when you look at the social media. They're doomed if they do and doomed if they don't.
Well, he reportedly attends a mosque where this guy preaches.
That is the character of a Muslim, or has a Muslim as a rahmah. Remember, rahmah is in its place. It's in its place. When the Tel Aviv fans come to Birmingham in a few weeks, we will not show them rahmah in Birmingham. But it has its time and place for those, for Muslims and non-Muslims living in Europe, in order that they know the true image of Islam.
So, by the way, he's not the only fruity preacher, certainly in Birmingham. This guy was at another mosque in Birmingham talking about stoning women to death.
Her that she is punished and she is stoned to death. And according to the Sharia again, when it comes to women, there must be a hole dug in the earth, in the ground, and she must be covered up to the half of the body, so that her satar does not appear.
At the An-Noor Masjid and Community Centre in Birmingham, they reportedly hosted a preacher who said that a man is allowed to hit his wife if she refuses sexual intercourse. Anyway, it turns out that one member of the Safety Advisory Board, this is the group of people who told the West Midlands Police that Tel Aviv fans shouldn't be allowed into Birmingham, is, shock horror, Wazim Ghaffur, a Labour councillor who reportedly called for the total boycott of Israel. Remember the cousin-loving Gaza independent Iqbal Mohammed?
The reason the practice is so common is that ordinary people see family intermarriage overall as something that is very positive, something that helps build family bonds and helps put families on a more secure financial foothold.
Helps build family bonds. I mean, yeah, that's one way of doing it, I suppose. Anyway, he's been tweeting about it, how all Israeli teams and athletes must be banned from all international sport. Zara Sultan has been on, of course she has. She said all Israeli teams should now be banned by UEFA. Keir Starmer says he's angry. He says he wants to sort it out. Does he? Well, today, this picture emerged, which seems to show him at an event calling for FIFA to ban Israel. Gosh, Sir Keir. Oh, there's always a picture, isn't there? If Keir Starmer is one of the Gaza gang, I mean, he is, isn't he? He is one of the Gaza gang. He always has been, he always will be. And it turns out that the Home Office was told that West Midlands Police were going to ban Tel Aviv fans a week ago, but they did nothing. That's the same West Midlands Police that said they didn't need to really police a protest where Muslim men were running around with weapons because, quotes, community leaders told them that they didn't need policing.
Salam alaikum. Good morning, everyone, and thank you to the leaders and elders that have afforded me this opportunity to speak to you.
Sir Keir Starmer now claims he wasn't aware that West Midlands Police were going to ban Israeli fans. So let's have a little look at some of the major scandals that the Prime Minister has claimed he knew nothing about. Are you ready? The China spy trial. Peter Mandelson's Epstein links, Louise Haig's criminal record, Angela Rayner's first housing scandal, grooming gang prosecutions, the post office scandal, Al Fayed's rape investigation, and then, of course, now this. We're about a week away from Sir Keir Starmer trying to claim that he's blind and deaf, aren't we? Many people in Britain, many people are worried about the radicalisation and the Islamification of British politics. It needs sorting now, but Starmer can't do it because he's been on their side all his political life. Let's get the views of my panel on this. Adam, your take on what we've seen coming out of Birmingham.
Look, what we've seen there from the preacher is incitement to violence, in my opinion. And if someone like me stood here and said something very similar, I would expect the police will probably be on me very quickly. Look, sectarian politics has no place in the UK democracy. I'm not religious. I respect other people's beliefs, but their beliefs should not affect my life or my laws or the way that we live our life in any way whatsoever in this country. And I think we're walking a dangerous path, and we have a weak government that is scared to even call out radical Islam. We see that with the synagogue tragedy only a couple of weeks ago. He would not name who this extremist was or why he did it, yet he's quite quick to name far right or people that he deems as far right. This Prime Minister is weak and he is a coward.
There's a gentleman here who's got a microphone, yeah? Right. There's a gentleman here who's got a microphone you're from Birmingham, is that right? Have you got... Is there something you want to... Have you got a question on this that you'd like to make?
Yeah, Patrick, go back a few weeks ago and look at the situation when Keir Starmer recognised a second Palestine state. Shortly afterwards, Hamas were thanking him, congratulating, sending him presents. Look at the second instance. We had the outrage in Manchester with the deaths of some Jewish people. He allowed protests on the streets against the Jews days after. Keir Starmer has set the Jews up like a kipper. They're absolutely terrified because they're scared to go out the houses, they're scared to go to send the kids to school with anything that identifies them as a Jewish person. It's disgraceful. The man himself is responsible for encouraging what's going on in this country now. And what I want to ask is, instead of saying, I'll do this, I'll do that, and I'm horrified, right? He's let the grooming gangs run loose in Bradford, he's let the Muslims run loose in Birmingham, and in all respect to Adam, down in Essex, they've got a different problem. They've got a load of people coming on boats terrorising them, right? And every time I'm going to do something about it.
OK.
The country is out of control.
All right, well on this, Barry, I'll come to you on this now. Sir Keir Starmer says he's outraged. It appears, I mean, our political editor, Christopher Hope, put this out earlier on. He's not, as yet, been able to do anything about the Jewish football ban, has he?
Well, look, let's get down to the game, Maccabi versus Villa, right? There's not a Jewish fan ban. Let's be clear about that. You introduced it as a Jewish fan ban. It's not. It's a ban on the away fans from Maccabi Tel Aviv. Do you know what their chant is? Their chant is, they chant, Ole, 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 no more schools in Gaza because there are no more children. And one of their other chants is, let the IDF win, fuck the Arabs. Those are their chants. Now, you talked about incitement to violence. You talked about racism. They've been banned because they are racist fans and they have incited violence, and it took place in Amsterdam, so much so that the mayor of Amsterdam said she would never have them back in her city.
What I'm going to do is, on this, OK, look, I obviously need to do the obvious thing, which is just apologise for some of the language there, but look, we're all adults here, and it is,
after 9 o'clock.
33 minutes past 10 at night, so I hope that's all OK. The only thing I will say, which you seem to be slightly ignoring, if you don't mind me saying, Barry, on a couple of these points, is that whilst they might have been chanting some of those things, what happened in Amsterdam was that local Arab men were also on WhatsApp groups who then proceeded to go on what has been described as a Jew hunt around the local area, kicking people's heads in and all of that stuff. And there is an argument. Well, they did do that.
Barry, one second. That's in court transcripts. That's a fact. There was 900 in a WhatsApp group, and it was called a Jew hunt. So let's call that out. Absolutely. You can call out that
Adam,
as well.
Adam,
let's put both sides of the story.
You know that I call out violence and racist behaviour wherever it is.
Should they have banned the Green Brigade from coming through Birmingham, the Celtic fans? Because some of those...
I don't know the story there. I don't know the story there.
Well, but this is the thing, isn't it? So Celtic fans, you've got a lot of... By the way, I'm not digging out Celtic fans here. I'm not at all. What I am saying is, if we're doing the thing about chants, there are some horrendous chants at football fans. The Celtic fans do sing some incredibly fruity stuff, especially about things like the royal family, etc. There were some things about the Queen being dead, all of that stuff. They were allowed into Birmingham. They were allowed to walk through Birmingham. But what I think for a lot of people, Barry, what the main issue here is I'm sorry, is that there are aspects of the local community in Birmingham that would not have been able to stand seeing Jewish football fans.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And look, let's be clear.
So what that guy said at the mosque, Barry...
Did you listen to what that preacher said?
Yes,
you genuinely think that's just about Israel, not about Jews?
Have been cancelled because of violent fans many, many times, right? Frankfurt has had 15 official away fan bans since 2023. They resulted in matches being played behind closed doors because the police said, no, this is going to cause violence. Besiktas versus Maccabi, cancelled. They had to do it behind closed doors because of the violence of the fans.
So you don't think that there is rampant anti-Semitism in Birmingham being committed in part by quite radical aspects of the British Muslim
I am sure that you will find anti-Semitism. That's not the issue. The issue is this was a decision taken for policing purposes.
No, it wasn't, Barry. It was a decision. It was taken by
but it was taken by Birmingham Safety Advisory Group, which is chaired by Birmingham Council.
So yes, on the advice of West Midlands Police.
I think they advised West Midlands Police.
Yes.
They made up a representation of the local authority and event organisers, and that's to provide a forum for discussing and advising on public safety at an event. And so, look, I think that we have to look at the context of this ban. And I think that most people are aware that when you have football fans, right, you have sometimes within those fans, you have people who are nasty and who are horrible and who have horrible chants.
In every club.
In every club. And I think that's you know, and I think that's...
Maccabi is notorious for it.
But there
just look at the history of that
Celtic example. But just quickly, the only point I would make is that in the context of what happened with the terror attack on the synagogue, and in the context of what people see as two-tier about the fact that that was not called out as an Islamist terror attack, which is the point you made, which I agree with, I think in that context it looks like it's trying to pacify a certain community.
There were incidents where there were Muslim men from Birmingham, living in Birmingham, who were wandering around on the streets with machetes and also had been threatening journalists. And the West Midlands Police came out and they said that they didn't need to police those events because they'd spoken to community leaders and that was basically, they said that they didn't want to be policed. So it does appear that there's a double standard here.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I was absolutely shocked by that, where it it seems as though you can apparently tell the police, no, we're not going to get up to any trouble, so don't bother policing us. I mean, it's absolutely crazy. And I think just going back to what was the context of this ban, I mean, let's bear in mind the fact that after this ban on Israeli fans attending, we've had Ayub Khan, Zara Sultana, etc. coming out and saying, oh, and now the UEFA should ban all Israeli football teams. So it's very clear what their intention was on pushing this ban. They simply do not like Israelis.
And I think after where there has been a terror attack of this nature, that's for me, it's the timing. And this is the kind of time where you say, right, anyone is welcome in the UK. And if you are Israeli, you're welcome in the UK. We need to police the people who are acting badly without a shadow of a doubt. But that's the time when you push back and say to people, look, this is when you hold your heads up high and you can be safe.
Well, I've got to read a statement from West Midlands Police now. It says, in relation to comments about Tel Aviv fans coming to Birmingham made by Azra Rashid, we're aware of the videos. This is about the Imam clip that I played you earlier on. They say they're aware of the video. They are assessing the content of it. So we'll wait and see what happens there. Look, coming up, apparently local elections might be postponed. So we'll have to wait and see whether or not that happens. We're going to discuss whether or not people think that that's kind of a borderline dictatorship-style thing. Stay tuned, everybody.
Ready to soak up that holiday sunshine?
Won't we need some cover?
No worries. All sorted.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Some heavy showers across Croatia on Friday, but they should be clearing in time for the weekend. Meanwhile, there'll be some heavy rain in parts of Tunisia. A few heavy showers over northern parts of mainland Greece and through Albania. Most of the Greek islands, though, dry and sunny. And looking sunnier for Corsica and Sardinia, too. 1 or 2 showers possible in Mallorca and Menorca and Barcelona. And so looking fairly showery on Saturday across the Canaries. Should be turning drier here, though, through Sunday and Monday. Showers continue in Barcelona.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Evening. The weekend promises a big change. Still, most of us dry and cloudy tomorrow, but it should be a bit brighter than today. And then things really change through Saturday night and into Sunday as we see things turning wet and windy because of this area of low pressure moving in, finally replacing our area of high pressure. But that high is still with us at the moment. There is still a little bit of light rain here and there. Been a few showers through the day across the south coast of England and in northeast Scotland. Much of northern Scotland, though, hanging on to clear skies, which will allow it to turn quite chilly and also perhaps a little foggy. Further south, temperatures holding up with the cloud at 8 to 10 degrees Celsius, but a chance of a pocket or two of frost in northern Scotland where we've got those clearer skies. The thickest cloud out west still producing a little bit of light rain and drizzle in the morning for maybe Northern Ireland. Still perhaps across the Northern Isles the odd light shower too, but much of northern Scotland starts the weekend chilly, perhaps foggy as well, but should see some good spells of sunshine here. Elsewhere, like it has been for much of the week, sunshine in short supply, a lot of cloud sitting around, but generally that cloud a bit higher than today, so it won't be quite so gloomy. And a better chance of seeing some more breaks in the cloud across southwest England, maybe East Anglia in the southeast, North Wales, northwest England. So chance of seeing some sunny spells here and there, but I think the lion's share of the sunshine will be across northern Scotland. Elsewhere, again, the odd light shower, but most places just staying dry and fairly drab. A little bit warmer than today, 14, 15, maybe 16 degrees, perhaps 17 if we see some sunshine. But look at this, all changed. The rain moves in from the west during Saturday night and then lingers for much of Sunday. The rain could be pretty heavy over eastern parts of Northern Ireland. Met Office yellow warning in place here. Heavy bursts likely elsewhere too, but slowly moving through. So parts of the west do turn a bit brighter come Sunday afternoon. But for many, Sunday is a soggy affair and increasingly windy to boot.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
No,
because the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff.
Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood.
So join me on Dubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up? About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back, everybody. So local elections, yes. Well, it looks as though that local elections covering 5 million people could be delayed for a second year running amid fears that reform gains could stop Labour's plans to overhaul local government. We're going to take a quick clip of what Nigel Farage had to say about this.
May the 1st this year, with the English county elections, they were cancelled in East Sussex, Essex, Hampshire, Norfolk, Suffolk, Surrey and West Sussex. Coincidentally, they were all areas in which it was thought that reform would win.
Right, I'm going to go straight to the lady on the front row here. Thank you very much. What would you like to say about this?
I just feel that we're being not given our rights, really, to be able to vote for the people that we want, or the parties we want to. Why is this happening again? We understood that that was stopped 1 year, and why is it not happening next year?
Is it? Do you think is it happening in your area? I don't know.
Yes, Hampshire.
So were you, just explain this to me then, so were you due to have elections last year?
No, it was stopped, it was postponed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just didn't happen, but we were told that it would happen the following year, and now it looks like that's not going to happen. And it seems that our rights are being taken away from us because...
Well, I suppose they are, really, aren't they, in a way? I mean...
democracy, is it?
No, it's not. That is the problem.
It's not a true democracy. And what I would like to know is how much does a councillor get, roughly, Barry?
I have no idea. When I was councillor, you got notes.
So but
you get like 13 grand or something.
It would probably be a financial incentive to stay on another year or two rather than risk being voted out. Now, at the end of the day, reform is absolutely terrifying Labour, Conservatives and the Lib Dems at the moment. It's an obvious ploy to keep them out.
Adam, you and I rarely agree on this panel. Fair? Okay.
Are you going to agree with me now, Barry?
I tell you what, I'm agreeing with you. The leader of the council, I think it's a Conservative, said, why would you spend months preparing for them? That's the elections. Sorry, that's the reorganisation. And then you will probably get a new reform administration which will frustrate the progress.
Yeah.
If you're going to postpone an election because of the reorganisation, that's one thing. But if you're going to do it because you're afraid that another party will come in, and that is an expression of the will of the people. Now, I may not like it. I may not agree with you, Adam. And, Madam, I don't know what your politics are, but, you know, I probably don't agree with you either. No. But the point is, I do believe that it's your democratic right to have your say, and if this is used because of that and not because of the reorganisation, that's absolutely wrong.
Can I ask you a bit snappy with this, but it's a bit dictatory, isn't it, this, I think?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they have the council leaders that have spoken to the press have essentially admitted why they are against these elections. Exactly. As Barry has said, if they simply said, look, it's just going to be way too expensive given they're going to have to be redone against next year, then fine, I would maybe give them some sympathy. But they are essentially saying we're reorganising the councils and we can't possibly have reform in the council because they'll be too unexperienced to oversee that transition because they can't be trusted. And that's not democratic at all.
We're going to have to go on for Christy. Yeah, we've got exactly. But I mean, that is really, it's pretty shameless stuff, actually, really, when you look at it like that. Anyway, right, coming up next, it's Greatest Britain Union Jackass time. Loads of audience participation needed for that. So here we go. We'll get that in a second. Stay tuned.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m. only on GB News.
GB News Breakfast. Every day from 6 a.m.
Talk to our favourite space expert,
Andy Loud. Good morning, Andy. Because, some people will say, well, why does it matter? But it changes our perspective, doesn't it, of cosmic evolution?
Yes, good morning, Beth. Yes, it does. It's quite an important discovery. And again, it just shows that science constantly moves on. The instrument they've used, Gravity Plus, has taken the light from 4 major telescopes and actually analysed that of a black hole. And at the centre of the black hole, you have the quasar, which is the active nuclei of a black hole. And surrounding that is a ring of dust and gas, the accretion disk. And it's thought that the black holes were obviously feeding on this, the materials falling into the black hole. Now, that was measured at 800 times the mass of our star, the Sun. However, when they were looking at it very carefully with the new instruments, better resolution, they found that what's quite exciting is the fact that the radiation which surrounds the black hole and part of this accretion disk is actually blasting a lot of this dust and gas out, away from the region. So the electromagnetic radiation and the various interactions is blasting much of this material away, which means, of course, it's not eating up all that material, so the black hole therefore could be up to 10 times smaller than they actually thought. This is a really important discovery because we're trying to understand why there were such massive black holes in the early universe, and our physics wasn't really fitting in with that. But now, with this new instrument and the new measurements we're doing, we're getting a better handle. It does mean, of course, that a lot of the objects we've seen in the early universe now, and looking at those early quasars, we're having to do recalculations and redo a resetting. But it will help the physics of understanding how the early universe formed.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pierce.
And me, Miriam Cates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
No matter the state it's in, this is our nation. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for a genuine, honest discussion on where we have been, where we are going, and where we are with the people who set the direction. Tune in to State of the Nation every Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock. Only on GB News.
Thank you very much, everybody who's made the journey. People from Exeter, people from the Midlands, people from all over. Thank you very, very much. And by the way, just as a quick tease to my show that's coming after that, the newspaper show, Nadine Dorothy's boobs are on the front page of the Daily Mail. So there you go. Get ready, everybody. I know, ridiculous. Anyway, let's do Greatest Britain Union Jackass. Greatest Britain, starting with you, please, Adam.
Right, mine, I've got to say this to Lee Anderson, who honoured a promise he made to me earlier in the year. He had a knife crime debate in Westminster Hall, and him and Reform put their argument forward so well, and I believe if they get in government, they're going to tackle knife crime.
There's a clip of it, I believe, we can go to, I think.
But I want to thank Adam Brooks and Norman Brennan, who are sat in the public gallery as well, who set up an online petition to bring this debate to Parliament, and they asked me to sign it. I said, no, I'm not signing it. I'm going to put in for a debate in Westminster Hall.
All right, there you go. Good strong start. Christo, your Greatest Britain, please.
OK, well, it's a group of Greatest Britons, and you might be surprised because I'm actually going to nominate the bosses of privatised energy companies.
What?
Come on, bear with me.
You weirdo.
Because they actually admitted... Yeah, you know why. Because they admitted this week, when speaking to a select committee, the reason why our bills are so high is because of Ed Miliband's loopy net zero. And even if the wholesale price of energy goes down, we will still have to pay a fortune because of all the...
We haven't got time for a bit of back and forth.
We've got a clip.
We've got time for back and forth. Oh, there's a clip, apparently. There's a clip. Yay.
If we continue on the path that we're on right now, in all likelihood, electricity prices for a typical customer are going to be 20% higher in 4 or 5 years' time than they are now.
OK, there we go. Right, go on then, Chloe. Who's your Greatest Britain, please?
a man called Axel Schwan, who was
I wonder where you were going with that for a second.
heroically filmed on camera chasing after a thief who stole a 65 grand watch. The police never turn up anymore, but I do notice when people steal things that everyone just stands by and does nothing. This man chased after the guy. One guy has 22 months in prison now after this. So it's good to see justice done.
I like a have-a-go hero. Go on, Barry.
Mine's much lighter. It's a bit of British fun. It's traditional. It's Matt Cross, officially crowned King Conquer this week after winning the World Conquer Championships in Lincolnshire.
The King Conquer. Love it. OK, right, let's vote on this then. So, Greatest Britain, Lee Anderson. OK, the net zero hating people. Right. All right. The have-a-go hero. The have-a-go hero. King Conquer. I know it's on my bread's butter, so I'm going to go for Lee Anderson. But right, let's rattle through this. OK, Union Jackass, please. Very quick, very quick.
Mine is Green Party leader Zach Polansky, who has got main character syndrome at the minute. He loves himself. They want to legalise crack cocaine and heroin. He thinks that women can have a penis. They would bankrupt Britain in 3 months.
You can make your boobs bigger, though.
Well, just by looking at them. OK, someone's just telling the Dean Dorries, actually. Anyway, right, go on.
I'm going to go for Cardiff City Council, who today have voted to make drivers of SUVs pay a fortune more for residents' parking permits, and they've banned others from ever being able to park. It's madness. They're penalising families. I'm annoyed about it. The cars are parked, for goodness sake. They're not being driven. I'm annoyed.
You're annoyed. Go on then, Chloe.
Well, mine doesn't even require an explanation because it's Prince Andrew.
Right. Go on, Barry.
My Union Jackass. British Gas Centrica for spending an afternoon searching for a gas leak when they were what they were actually smelling was the pong from a South Asian fruit at the greengrocers called durian. Now I know Christo often goes in search of South Asian fruit, but you know.
Oh, great! You dropped the F-bomb. Now you're throwing left out there. All right, OK.
None of it smells that bad, though.
No, exactly.
I'm gonna go. I think it's probably Prince Andrew, isn't it? I think. All right, there we go. Well done. All right. Right, thank you very much, my wonderful audience. Up next, it's me with the papers. Okay, stay tuned, stay tuned.
Today's outlook: cool, calm and completely horizontal. Boxed Aircon sponsors the weather on GB News.
Evening. The weekend promises a big change. Still, most of us dry and cloudy tomorrow, but it should be a bit brighter than today. And then things really change through Saturday night and into Sunday as we see things turning wet and windy because of this area of low pressure moving in, finally replacing our area of high pressure. But that high is still with us at the moment. There is still a little bit of light rain here and there. Been a few showers through the day across the south coast of England and in northeast Scotland. Much of northern Scotland, though, hanging on to clear skies, which will allow it to turn quite chilly and also perhaps a little foggy. Further south, temperatures holding up with the cloud at 8 to 10 degrees Celsius, but a chance of a pocket or two of frost in northern Scotland where we've got those clearer skies. The thickest cloud out west still producing a little bit of light rain and drizzle in the morning for maybe Northern Ireland. Still perhaps across the Northern Isles the odd light shower too, but much of northern Scotland starts the weekend chilly, perhaps foggy as well, but should see some good spells of sunshine here. Elsewhere, like it has been for much of the week, sunshine in short supply, a lot of cloud sitting around, but generally that cloud a bit higher than today, so it won't be quite so gloomy, and a better chance of seeing some more breaks in the cloud across southwest England, maybe East Anglia in the southeast, North Wales, northwest England, so chance of seeing some sunny spells here and there, but I think the lion's share of the sunshine will be across northern Scotland. Elsewhere, again, the odd light shower, but most places just staying dry and fairly drab. A little bit warmer than today, 14, 15, maybe 16 degrees, perhaps 17 if we see some sunshine. But look at this, all changed. The rain moves in from the west during Saturday night and then lingers for much of Sunday. The rain could be pretty heavy over eastern parts of Northern Ireland. Met Office yellow warning in place here. Heavy bursts likely elsewhere too, but slowly moving through. So parts of the west do turn a bit brighter come Sunday afternoon. But for many, Sunday is a soggy affair and increasingly windy to boot.
Today's outlook: cool, calm, and completely horizontal. Boxed Aircon sponsors the weather on GB News.
There's 2 weeks remaining in our latest, greatest giveaway. You could be in the driving seat of this Benamar Primera motorhome. This luxurious home from home comes with all the mod cons. Plus, you can use it with your current driving licence. We'll also boost your bank account with a whopping £30,000 in tax-free cash to spend on anything you like. It only takes one entry to become a winner. For another chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one